Hi, welcome to today's video. Today we're going to be talking about my March TBR. The first book I want to read, well, first of all, I have to finish the Chestnut Spring series this month. Like, I'm bound and determined. I wanted to finish it last month, but not gonna happen. So I don't physically own Reckless, but I do have Hopeless. Reckless is about Theo Silva and Winter Hamilton. Winter is Summer's from the first book, Summer. It's her sister, and then Theo is Rhett from the first book's prodigy in like bull riding, and it's very much Grumpy Sunshine. I know that she is going through like a nasty divorce from like a really awful guy, and she's very rigid and type A and a little cold. I know she has a lot of trauma, and Theo is very fun and outgoing, and so I'm really excited to see what kind of dynamic they have going on there, because I think that'll be really interesting. And then this one is Bo and, what's her name? Oh, this one is Bo and Bailey. And Bo is in the military. He's in like a really like secretive unit in the military where like he can't really tell his family and like his friends where he's at. Like they kind of just have to hope that he's okay. He can't really communicate with them. Well, anyway, he ends up getting in a nasty accident, and I'm pretty sure he ends up retiring. And then Bailey is the Chestnut Springs. There's like two big families in the Chestnut Springs area. The Eatons, which is all of these boys, like all these brothers. And there's another family that Bailey's a part of. And that family's like, everyone doesn't really like them, but Bailey's kind of the only normal one out of them. And she's like a cute little bartender at the bar that the Eaton boys always go and visit. And Bo's always kind of had a thing for her. So I'm really excited to see how that works out and look what their relationship dynamic is about. And this is the last one in the series. I also want to start Elsie Silver's other cowboy romance series because I'm so invested in cowboy romance right now. Like, you don't understand. I don't want to read anything except romance books right now. And I think it has to do with the fact that, like, I'm in school. And when I'm in school and I'm having to, like, actually do things, I don't want to read anything that takes a lot of brain power. I just want to be able to consume romance. That's it. Because it takes no brain power to do that. So I want to read Elsie Silver's her first cowboy romance series, the Gold Rush Ranch series. So I want to read, at least try to get into Off to the Races, the first book. I honestly don't really know what it's about. I just know that it's basically similar to Chestnut Springs, the Chestnut Springs series, but it's on a different ranch. I'm kind of going in blind with that one. Also, to keep up with the, cowboy romance trend we've got going on here, Swift and Saddled comes out this month. Well, actually, March 1st, I think, is when it comes out. And it is the second book in the Rebel Blues Ranch series. So the first book was Done and Dusted, and I loved Done and Dusted. I listened to that one. It was so cute, and I love the covers of these books. Like, they're so fresh. And I really want to get into, I'm really interested to read the next one. It is Weston Ryder is, the main guy, and I'm pretty sure that's Clementine's brother from the first book. And then it's, this city girl comes to Meadowhawk, and he kind of she doesn't really know she wants to be there, and he's this precious boy, and he's gonna introduce her to the ranch and get her used to this cowboy lifestyle. I'm so excited to see how that goes. But I remember him from the first book. He was so sweet. He was the lovey brother. There was the angsty brother, and then the sweetheart brother. I'm pretty sure this was the sweetheart brother, so I'm really excited. The girl, though, it looks like her name's Ada. We didn't see her in the first book at all. Maybe towards the end. I think maybe she was a friend that moved to Meadowhawk. I'm not 100% sure, but we did not see her. So I'm interested to see what her character's like. I love a good city girl because I can relate. And then I'm going to Florida for spring break this month. I'm super excited. And obviously I need some summer reads. Some summer beach reads. So first of all, better than the movies. I have to read this book. If I do not read this book, if I don't read this book anytime soon, please, someone just force me to read it. Because I know I'm going to love it. I know I'm going to love it. All of my favorite, YouTubers, booktubers, all of them are we love this book. And so I need to read it because I know I'm going to love it. But basically, it's about Liz and Wes. And Liz is very much rom-com girly. I'm pretty sure, all these chapters start out with, a cute little quote from a rom-com. Wait, I want to show you. Look. It starts out with a little quote that's so cute. I love rom-coms, and I'm really in my romance era. I tried to read this, I think, January of last year, and I was like, no, but I don't think I was really into my romance era. And like right now, all I'm doing is reading romance books. So I think this will be perfect for spring break. But basically, it's like Liz and Wes, they're in high school. She's dreaming of her, you know, big love confession, and she thinks it's going to be with this one boy. She wants to take this one boy to the prom, and he happens to be friends with Wes. And they kind of like work together to get this boy to, you know, go to prom with Liz. But obviously they end up falling in love with each other instead. Like, hello. And so I'm really excited to read this because everyone rates it so highly. Another good one for the beach is going to be People We Meet on Vacation. I've read every other Emily Henry book. I just need to round them out. Especially like since her new one is coming out in April. I think it's Funny Feeling, I think is what it's called. So I need to have them all finished. You know, I've read her first 3. This is the last one I haven't read. I need to get it knocked out because then I can just go into Funny Feeling with being like, I'm completed with the Emily Henry stuff, you know? But this one is Poppy and Alex, and Poppy and Alex are like best friends, and they always go on a vacation together every year. They're like polar opposites, like personality-wise, like she's crazy, he's not, da-da-da-da. Apparently something bad happens, and they don't speak for 2 years, and she ends up calling him up and is like, hey, let's do one last hoorah, and let's go on vacation together one more time, and, you know, the rest is going to be history at that point. I think this one will be perfect for the beach. Like, because I don't know if I'd be able to sit here now and read it, but I think on the beach, like, I bet I'd fly through this. I also want to get into Lauren Asher's new series. This is takes place in Lake Wisteria, which is where the last book in the Dream Million Billionaire series takes place. And I loved that setting. It's like rich small town, if that makes sense. Like, I know that's so contrasting and it doesn't really fully make sense, but trust me on this one, rich small town, which is my vibe, okay? I love small town, but I want them to be rich. You know, like, I need the big elements that are like nothing like what I'm used to. Like, if it's similar to my life now, like, I don't really want to read it. Like, I want them to be rich. I want them to be loaded. But anyway, Julian and Dahlia are like childhood enemies, I think. Yeah, like childhood rivals. And she ends up moving away. He stays. He's like a shelter land developer, kind of, I don't know, something like that. And she is an interior designer. And she ends up coming back to Lake Wisteria. She ends up moving back. And he's like, why is she here? Why is she here? I don't want her to be here. And she's like, well, we have to work together if you want me to be gone. And so they end up having to work together. And I bet that's gonna be really good. I love forced proximity. Like, that's so good. But look how big this book is. Like, her books keep getting bigger and bigger. And I'm like, does it need to be that long? Like, does it need to be 519 pages? I'll let you know. If I get around to it, I'll let you know, because I'm not certain that it does need to be. I've heard he's a little grumpy, but like not like so grumpy, if that makes sense. I don't know. And then, so I read, what was it? Saving 13? Is that what it's called? Binding 13. Hello? I read Binding 13 in January, and oh my gosh, that was the first time in forever that I sat down and I literally did not stop reading. Like, that is the first time in the longest time where I sat down and I looked up and I'd been reading for like 3 hours. These books, dense, okay? And the font, tiny. These books are huge. And I would sit down for hours at a time and look up and like not even realize I had been reading for that long. The first book was so good. It was so good. It's like every chapter you're like, okay, I'm gonna finish this chapter and then I'm gonna go to something else. But then the chapter ends on a cliffhanger, and you're like, well, now I can't go somewhere. Like, I can't go do anything until I find out what happened. Until I find out what happens, until we get to like a stopping point. But there is no stopping point. That's the best. That's literally the best. And so now I need to read Saving 13. I don't know why I didn't, like, I had started going into it. I got 70 pages into this, and I just put it down and never picked it back up. I'm not 100% sure. I'm not 100% sure, but I need to get back into it. It's very much, the first book was very much just a character study, and I don't always love those, but it's very similar to the Addicted Calloway Sisters series. Not in any of the plot wise, but just how like in depth it goes into character development. Johnny and Shannon, I love them. They're so fresh. Speaking of the Calloway Sisters series, I need to read Long Way Down. I have read all the other ones except Long Way Down and, what is it, Some Kind of Perfect? The epilogue novel. Those are the only 2 books I have left in the series, and I need to finish them. And I love Reich and Daisy. I don't know why I can't get into that book. I've started it so many times and just not finished. But I can't give you too much of like what it's about. But the Addicted Calloway, so you have the Addicted series and the Calloway Sisters series, and they overlap a little bit. No, they overlap a bit actually. But they're 2 separate series, but they're intertwined. So it's like the Addicted series is about Lily and Lo, and the Calloway Sisters series is Lily's other 2 sisters. And they alternate each book. So it's like Rose's book, Daisy's book, Rose's book, Daisy's book. And then this is like, you fully don't have anything to look at right now. I'm just like, this is Addicted, this is Calloway Sisters series. And like, I'm pointing at things and you have no idea what I'm talking about. But you start with the Addicted series. There's like a reading order for all these books. Like it's intense, okay? But they are so good. So the Addicted series is Lily and Lo's story of they're both addicts. He's an alcoholic and she's a sex addict, and they've been best friends for forever. And it starts out with them like enabling each other's addictions, and then the farther you get into the series, the more you see them develop and like be able to handle their addictions and then recover from them. It's a really beautiful story. Like, I highly recommend you read it. I've never been around addicts, but I would imagine that it's I would imagine it's a pretty good representation of it. It felt to me, from the outside looking in, it felt like a very good representation. But again, I'm not 100% sure. I've not heard anyone say that it's not, so don't quote me on that. But then it goes, the Calloway Sisters series is Rose and Daisy's books, and they both also have a lot of issues. They're not addicts like Lily and Lo, but they have a lot of stuff that they have to dive into, and then they're, partners, they dive into their partners' issues. It's just, all of it's very much a character study, and it is, when I tell you, I've never read book series where the people feel so real. Like, I read those books and I was like, what do you mean these aren't real people? Like, yes, they are. They are literally real people, real life. Like, they're fully just going about their day right now. This author, oh wait, no, it's 2 authors, sisters. They wrote these books. They did such an amazing job on them. Like, you need to read this series. I mean, like, I'm in shock at how amazing they are. It's just so deep and so personal. Like, I feel like these are my friends. Like, I feel like I'm friends with them. I love them so much. And so I really just need to finish the series. I have no idea why I didn't finish, but I need to read that last book. So technically, this is the last book in the Calloway Sisters series. And then there's just a big fat epilogue novel to wrap up both of the series. And it's like, I think it's like 10 years in the future or something like that. Like, I need to finish it. So I'm hoping we get to that this month. It has read the Windy City series and she loves it. And I know everyone doesn't really love Mile High, like the first book in the series, but I need to give it, a fair chance before I just jump to the second book. So I want to read Mile High this month and try to get into this series. But I think I'm going to listen to it because I think it'll be easier, because I've heard this one is a little hard to get through, but I also don't want it to put me in a slump. So I'm not 100% sure. I might end up DNFing and going on to the next one. Anyway, basically, she's the flight attendant for his private jet for his hockey team. Like, he plays professional hockey, and she's the flight attendant for that. And from what I gather, he's very much playboy, kind of a jerk, and she kind of flips him around and makes him into a better person, from what I gather. I don't know a whole lot about it, but I do know that he is very much playboy. Because I know that's everyone's complaint about it, is that he's so playboy that they're I don't really like him. So I'm interested to see my thoughts on it. The last book that I have on my TBR is Indigo Ridge. I am just in that small town vibe right now, and whenever you look up small town romance books, the Chestnut Springs series pops up in this series. So I really feel like I need to give it a fair chance after I finish Chestnut Springs, because hello, if I'm in my small town romance era, then I might as well be all in and read all of them. And so basically Indigo Ridge and like the Eden series in general takes place in Montana, and I'm pretty sure all the books are like a different kind of the romance book with like a subplot of mystery, I think. Because like the first book is the main girl is chief of police, and there's like a murder on this guy's estate, and so like they have to investigate it together, and they end up, since they're together all the time, like they end up, you know, falling in love, as we love to see. And so I'm pretty sure all the books kind of follow that same premise, where it's kind of a little bit of mystery in all of them. And I actually really like that, because most of the time it's just romance and there's not a whole lot of extra plot to it. So I think that'll be fun and like a little different than what I'm used to. Obviously I'll let you know how it goes. But anyway, those are all the books I want to read in March. Hopefully I get to them. No promises, because I am such a big mood reader that you never know. So, but I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, you know what to do. I'm so glad you came here and hung out with me for a little bit, and I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you later. Bye.